you spent years on death row, then today finally came for you to take the death walk down that long hall. Go into your execution. Your death sentence, what would your last words be? Welcome to 40 Proof Crime. Last words of serial killers, what were they? Let's take a look. Earl Leonard Nelson, also known as the Gorilla. Man, Gorilla Killer, and the Dark Strangler. He was a serial killer, rapist, and necrophile. He had between 22 and 29 victims. He was sentenced to death by hanging on January 13, 1928. His last words were,
I am innocent. I stand innocent before God and man I forgive. Those who have wronged me and ask forgiveness of those I have injured, God have mercy.
James Allen Red Dog was a mixed Sioux and Assiniboine serial killer from Fort Peck Indian Reservation. He had 5 victims from 1973 to 1991. He was executed by lethal injection on March 3, 1993. He was 39 years old. His convictions included first-degree murder with unlawful sexual intercourse and kidnapping. He was executed by his own request, and his last words were,
I'm going home, babe.
Eileen Carol Wuornos-Born Pittman was a female American serial killer. Eileen committed her crimes while working as a prostitute on the streets of Florida. She shot and robbed 7 of her clients. She was charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder and received 6 death sentences. She was executed on October 9. 2000 by lethal injection, she spent more than 10 years on death row. Her last words went like this.
I just like to say I'm sailing with the rock and I'll be back. Like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6 like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back.
Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck, they were an American serial killer couple. Convicted of first-degree murder, they had between 3 and 20 victims from 1947 to 1949. They were known as the Lonely Hearts Killers. This name came from meeting their victims through personal ads posted in newspapers under the Lonely Hearts columns. Raymond was executed on March 8, 1951 by electrocution. His final words were,
I want to shout it out. I love Martha. What do the public know about love?
Martha was executed the same day, also by electrocution. Her final words go like this.
My story is a love story, but only those tortured by love can know what I mean. Imprisonment in the death house has only strengthened my feeling for Raymond.
Carroll Edward Eddie Cole, an American serial killer. He strangled 2 women to death in Nevada and was convicted for murdering 3 other women in Texas. He is believed to have murdered up to 30 people between 1947 and 1980. He was convicted of first-degree murder and executed by lethal injection on October 12, 1984. His last words were just simply,
It's all right.
Kenneth Allen McDuff, also known as the Broomstick Killer, an American serial killer. He was convicted of killing 16-year-old Edna Sullivan, her boyfriend 17-year-old Robert Brand, and Brand's cousin 15-year-old Mark Duneman. California, after repeatedly raping Edna, he broke her neck with a broomstick. He was charged with murder with malice and capital murder. There were between 9 and 14 victims. McDuff was executed by lethal injection at Huntsville Unit in Texas on November 17, 1998. His last words were,
I am ready to be released. Release me.
John George Hay, known as the Acid Bath Killer. He was an English serial killer from 1942. 1949, he was charged for the murders of 6, but claimed he killed 9. He beat and shot his victims, then disposed of them in sulfuric acid. He would forge their signatures and sell their possessions for money. His weapons of choice were a lead pipe and a .38 caliber revolver. He was convicted of murder and executed by hanging on August 10, 1949. He was 40 years old. He was executed at Wadsworth Prison in England. His last words were not words, but a letter written to his girlfriend Barbara. It goes like this.
It is difficult to say farewell under these circumstances, but you will always be in my thoughts. You know, I have been proud of our association. It has always been an honorable one. I shall remember your great kindness and devotion. Now I must leave you.
And last in this part of the series is Israel Keyes, an American serial killer, bank robber, burglar, arsonist, kidnapper, and sex offender. He was quite the multitasker when it comes to committing crimes. He murdered at least 3 people and suspected of murdering between 11 and 20 people alone, with dozens of felonies including armed robbery, arson, rape, and burglary. Keyes hid murder kits around the United States. He was active from July 2001 to February 2012 and was apprehended on March 13, 2012 and was imprisoned at Anchorage Correctional Complex on December 2, 2012 at the age of 34. While awaiting trial, Keyes took his own life by slashing his wrist and hanging himself. He had no final words, but a final note which said,
Okay, talk it over, words are placid and cheap, watch close while I work now. Feel the electric shock of my touch, open your trembling flower or your petals I'll crush.
What would my last words be? Well, it's hard to say unless you're in that situation, but maybe something like this.
To my family who was always there for me, I love you. I'm ready to go now. Let's do this.
Please take time to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm learning still and trying to improve. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Be safe.